Whether you're growing a vegetable garden or an herb garden or a tea garden or a mix of the three like I do. Let me show you some of my favorite herbal friends. This is my dear friend lemon balm. And if I could only grow one herb, it would be lemon balm. Lemon balm is a nerving herb and it smells very lemony. It has this like bright citrus smell. And even just sitting here and smelling it, I can feel it. So it works very quickly to calm the nervous system. If you tend to be hypervigilant, sort of stuck in fight or flight, lemon balm can help you break that cycle and come out of fight or flight. It's also really great for like cortisol imbalances, hormone balance, thyroid problems. You'll read sometimes that people with thyroid issues shouldn't use lemon balm. I've kind of found the opposite to be true for my family. 2 out of the 5 people in my home have Hashimoto's, and those 2 love lemon balm. So do your own research, talk to your doctor, talk to an herbalist, and decide if it's right for you. But I love lemon balm. You can use this as a tea. You can take it as a tincture. Sometimes I even put lemon balm leaves in my bath water for a really nice, relaxing bath. There are endless ways to use this one. You can even eat it fresh in salads. And probably my favorite way to use lemon balm is I put it in my chicken broth. When I make like a bone broth, I add lemon balm leaves and it adds some medicinal benefit to my broth. One of my personal favorite herbs is spearmint. And spearmint doesn't get nearly enough attention in the herbalism community, in my humble opinion. But spearmint is wonderful for hormones. And specifically, I have PCOS. And so I tend to struggle with higher levels of androgens or male hormones, testosterone, that sort of thing. Spearmint gets that under control. It's a natural balancer, and if you are a PCOS girly, if you have polycystic ovarian syndrome and you need an herbal remedy, spearmint. Spearmint is your best friend. I like to make a tea out of spearmint and holy basil and red raspberry leaf and lemon balm. Those 4 together are like the magic combo. So grow some spearmint and it smells divine. It smells so good. So this is another one you want to keep in a container. We have it in a little raised bed here because mints like to spread and they will take over your entire garden. So put it in a spot where it's contained and then let it get big and it will come back year after year and you'll have spearmint for days. So sage might seem like an obvious herb. If you cook with herbs often, you probably use sage, but it's easy to grow and it will come back year after year. You can see I have this ginormous sage bush behind me. The sage bush is 3 years old, and as you can see, it will spread rapidly. But sage is good for more than just cooking. In fact, sage is my go-to herb for sinus problems. So if someone in my house has a sinus infection, we are doing sage teas, a sage steam where we breathe in the steam from sage, and even doing a compress of sage leaves on the face. Do we look silly? Maybe. But when I tell you it helps with sinus pain, you just have to try it and you'll be amazed. So sage. This plant is so fun. You can use the leaves or the roots. You can make a tea out of this or an infusion. There's tons of ways to use marshmallow. But my favorite use is for sore throats. It just adds a nice coating to soothe a sore throat. So I grow this one just for the sore throat benefits. Tucked right here, we have valerian. You may have heard of valerian. It's actually a common supplement that people will buy, valerian root, to help with sleep. But you can grow it yourself, and it actually grows these really beautiful flowers. So valerian is a really powerful sleep aid, but it's also helpful for just relaxation. Tucked back in here underneath all of the lemon balm, we also have oregano growing. And oregano is one of those herbs that is a must-have. It's great for pest control, but it's also a wonderful medicinal. You can make your own oil of oregano by soaking your oregano leaves in olive oil for about 8 weeks. And that oil of oregano is going to be a powerful antimicrobial, antifungal, We use it for all kinds of things. So oregano is a plant I cannot suggest enough, not just for the medicinal benefits, but for culinary uses. You can't make a good lasagna without oregano, so you definitely want to add this one to your garden too. Let me show you. Motherwort is a wonderful herb for women's health, whether it's PMS, PCOS, perimenopause. Motherwort is a balancer for all things with women's hormones. You may have heard of horehound. It's an old remedy. People used to make horehound candy or horehound cough lozenges. So you probably already know how we use this one. It's a good natural cough suppressant. But horehound is also just good for any sort of cough and cold. So you can make a tea, you can make a cough syrup, you can make an infused honey. There's lots of ways to use horehound. But this one should definitely be in your garden if you have kids who tend to get coughs in the wintertime. Grow some horehound and you'll be prepared. Another fun herb to grow, and this one's really a fruit, but that one's elderberry. So I have elderberry bushes growing here, and you can see they're starting to flower. We're not quite to the berry stage yet, but this is actually when I prefer to harvest my elderberry. I like to harvest it as elderflower, and then instead of making elderberry syrup or something like that, I make an elderflower tincture, and that is the best for fighting the flu. It works better in my opinion. Try it for yourself and let me know in the comments what you think, if elderberry or elderflower is more effective. But elderflower can be taken as a tea or as a tincture. Both work really, really well. So add some elderberry bushes, get them established and growing in your garden. We really lucked up because we had about 5 of these just already growing here at the edge of our property when we moved in, and I was so excited when I found them. But we're adding more. We ordered 10 elderberry bushes to add to our fruit orchard because this is a staple and it's something that I want to have more of, so I can add it to more tea blends in my apothecary as well. Look at these beautiful little blooms. They look like tiny daisies, sort of similar to chamomile, but the blooms are slightly bigger. Feverfew is my favorite herb for headaches. Now, like the name suggests, Feverfew, it can help with fever reductions as well, but Feverfew is almost like a little Tylenol alternative. You can use it for lots of things, but it is best known as a migraine remedy. Also growing here with the peas, we have some wormwood. I'll show you the leaves. Wormwood is best known as a detox agent. You'll often find this as an ingredient in parasite cleanses. So I decided to go ahead and introduce it into my garden as a perennial to grow year after year so that we always have this little medicinal friend on hand in case we need a parasite cleanse. So wormwood is another one to add to your garden. So this is bee balm, and bee balm is also sometimes called bergamot. This is another plant that I love and would always grow in my garden. So when it matures, it grows these beautiful little purple flowers that attract the bees. So not only does it bring in tons of pollinators to the garden, but bee balm has skin regenerative properties, meaning you can make an infused oil or a salve out of this, and it will help heal any sort of abrasions, cuts, scrapes very quickly. It's also really good for helping scars to heal up and go away, just anything for the skin. You can usually find this one in garden centers too. A lot of people grow it as an ornamental and they don't know that it's medicinal. So check this one out. And listen, here's the thing. I know we're barely scratching the surface on herbs because there are so many options. We haven't even touched on things like rosemary, basil. I'm growing like 7 kinds of basil. There are just endless things you can grow that are medicinal. Roses are medicinal. Calendula flowers are medicinal. So my challenge to you is to choose 3 herbs and add 3 herbs to your garden this summer. And just start experimenting. Try to learn to use them. Follow along. I'll be showing how I harvest and use my herbs all summer long. And I'll show more of my herb plants as we go. Hopefully this gives you ideas for the most important medicinal herbs to know and grow. And I would love to hear from you. What are your favorite herbs? What did you not see me mention that you think I should add? Give me more ideas because I want to add as many medicinals to my garden as possible.